All right, you ready to start schmoozing?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so the Pew Hispanic Center, Jonathan, has just published some very interesting statistics about the Biden administration and immigration in general to the United States. First of all, the number of people who received green cards last year declined from 240,000 in the second quarter of 2020 to 79,000 in the third quarter.
Wow.
The fiscal year second quarter is January to March 2020. That was right before the pandemic started. And then the third quarter is April to June, 79,000. If you remember, and still to this day, the embassies were closing, people were quarantining, and there's now think about that. If there was more than 120, 130,000 people less received their green card that one quarter. We were quarantining each quarter after. I don't know what the statistics haven't come out for the following quarters.
Right.
But you have to figure there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people who should have gotten appointments who didn't, which is why now we're getting all of these telephone calls. How come I'm waiting? How come I'm waiting?
Right.
And that's the reason for the backlog. Now, Biden, they also came out with statistics about Biden. His biggest immigration proposal to date would allow more new immigrants into the U.S. while giving millions of unauthorized immigrants who are already in the country a pathway to legal status. We talked about that yesterday and the day before and the weeks and weeks before. It's the Build Back Better Act. We'll see what happens with that. Some other key immigration statistics that I thought was interesting. Most immigrants are receiving their green cards how? I'm going to give you the options, Jonathan.
Okay.
Okay, the 5 ways to get a green card in the United States are family, employment, investment, asylum, refugee, family, employment, investment, and visa lottery. What was the most out of those 5? Where did they most come from, Jonathan?
Family?
Family, correct.
Okay.
In 2019, 710,000 people visas accounted for about 1 in 5 temporary employment visas issued in 2019. 188,000 high-skilled foreign workers received their H-1B visas in 2019. About 636,000 people got DACA. By 2020.
That's a lot.
700,000 immigrants got temporary protected status from 12 countries also in that same year. Now, imagine if it's 700,000 immigrants got TPS, 636,000 immigrants got DACA. There's got to be more than 10 million undocumented people in the United States. All right, there has to be. Now, what else? H-1B visa denials. There was a statistic that came out from the National Foundation for the American Policy that during the Trump administration, over 24% of H-1B applications were denied in 2018. That means on an H-1B visa, 1 in 4 people were getting denied in 2018. And the reason they were doing that was in the past, if you were doing an H-1B visa extension, as long as you were able to show you were employed where you were supposed to be employed and you were getting the salary that you claimed you were getting, that H-1B extension was always getting approved. Under the Trump administration, they were making the immigration officers go back and re-adjudicate every H-1B to determine even if the person was eligible to begin with. And then cases that were on the fence, meaning that maybe the education didn't relate completely to the job. Maybe they didn't have the proper education for the job. Because for an H-1B visa, you need to have a bachelor's degree or equivalent. You have to your education has to be related to the job in which you're doing, and the job in which you're doing has to require a minimum of a university degree. So they were going back and adjudicating and saying, oh, this job doesn't require a university degree.
Oh, wow.
Even though after they got approved before.
What? What?
Yeah, or this person, even though previous immigration officer says his education's related to his job, it's not really related to his job. So they were denying a lot of them. Now under the Biden administration, the visa refusals, the H-1B refusals are back to normal processing. Historically, 93% getting approved and only 7% getting denied. What's interesting also about this statistics that we were reading, that the most H-1Bs that were filed, because there's always a thing with congressmen and people who are against immigrants, that we don't want immigrants taking away jobs from Americans. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you what's interesting about the H-1B visa. The most H-1B visas that were given to any one particular company, you could probably take a guess which one it would be.
Like from what?
What's one of the fastest growing companies in the United States? Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon was what Amazon applied for and obtained 6,182 H-1B visas for their employees in fiscal year 2020.
Wow.
Interestingly, Amazon is a company that is hiring more Americans than almost any other companies in the United States. So for immigration, for people who are against immigration to say the H-1B visa professionals who are coming over are taking jobs away from Americans.
It's not true.
It's not true, because Amazon's hiring more Americans than anybody.
Wow.
So actually the companies that are doing the H-1Bs are hiring more Americans than other companies that are not. Other big companies that hired H-1B visa applicants include Cognizant, 1,481, Google, 1,453 H-1Bs, IBM, 1,402 H-1Bs, Microsoft, 1,240. And I think all of that is pretty interesting. Now, one other thing that was also very interesting, they found this and this was all out of Forbes magazine. At United States universities, only 25% of full-time graduate students in engineering and computer information sciences are U.S. students. That means 3 out of 4 engineers and computer science graduate school students that we are training here in the United States, the future engineers and Google engineers, are 3 out of 4 are foreigners.
That doesn't surprise me.
And we're only giving out 65,000 H-1B visas a year. That doesn't cover all of those students. So it's pretty dumb of the United States. Yesterday we discussed what the United States Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Susan B. Clark said in her first State of American Business address. She said, we have to grow our workforce if we want to grow our economy and stay competitive. Let's see what she said.
So, who wants to put their talent to work? Who wants to pursue their dreams in a dynamic economy flush with opportunity? Immigrants of every skill level. So where are they going to go? The US or Canada? Let's make it Austin or Boston or Atlanta or Denver or any of the countless US destinations in search of top talent. We must double the number of people legally immigrating to the US, and we must create a permanent solution for the dreamers.
So press reports have started to recognize that the immigration restrictions have caused or worsened many of the labor supply problems in America. We talked about that yesterday as well. Preventing high-skilled individuals from working in America does create more opportunities for U.S. workers. Restrictive immigration policies reduce economic and employment growth, push work outside the United States, and diminish living standards for everybody. That's what the statistics are coming out and saying.
Wow.
Yeah. Meanwhile, U.S. Justice Department is starting to form a counter-terrorism group for domestic terrorists. This is coming out of the January 6th insurrection. The move reflects a growing realization by the United States national security officials that domestic extremists represent a huge threat to the United States. Matthew Olson, the Assistant Attorney General of the Department's National Security Division, told a hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee we face an elevated threat from domestic violent extremists, that is, individuals in the United States who seek to commit violent criminal acts in furtherance of domestic, social, or political goals. Attorney General Merrick Garland told lawmakers last May that domestic violent extremist groups, particularly white supremacists, pose a huge threat to the United States.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely they do.
Yeah.
And what else? What else we got here? Queen Elizabeth has stripped Prince Andrew of his titles because he is about to go forward on a lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre, who is the young lady who claims that when she was underage, that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell was basically
take them all down.
Yeah, using her, and sexually molesting her as a minor.
17 years old.
Yeah. Prince Andrew tried to get the lawsuit dismissed in Maryland. The Judge Louis A. Kaplan at the U.S. District Court for the Southern District, wrote an opinion. Ms. Giuffre, her name is Giuffre's complaint is neither unintelligible nor vague nor ambiguous. It alleges discrete incidents of sexual abuse in particular circumstances at 3 identifiable locations. It identifies to whom it attributes that sexual abuse. So why do you think Queen Elizabeth stripped him of his royal duties and he's no longer...
Because it's true and they don't want anything to do with anything like that.
I think that's part of it. I also think that as the Prince of England, basically perhaps they can go after the assets of the royal family to collect a judgment, a civil judgment, if Prince Andrew were to be found liable to Virginia, because this is a civil suit.
Yes.
So I think part of it is publicity. They don't want to be associated with it.
But also legal.
I think also legally, it strips Andrew of having any assets.
Yeah.
So now, Andrew has no assets anymore because they can't collect any money because he no longer has access to his dowry or whatever you would call it.
So do you think they still will be, behind him, giving him money and stuff?
I'm sure they will be.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will be.
Yeah. So it's really to protect their ass.
I think it's partly, they don't want to have anything to do with this. And they have to protect, the name of the royal family, but also it's basically now Andrew has no money.
Right. And also, me personally, this is my opinion. I think that there's some mess that goes on within the royal family as well. So this kind of cuts ties with what the mess that has come out to the public, and it's not going to have people starting to snoop into the royal family's mess, their internal stuff, because I think they got a lot of stuff that we don't know about. So they're like, let's just cut ties. We ain't together. They don't want none of their mess coming out.
Now, according to the press reports, Andrew is the Duke of York. He's going to keep his place in the line of succession to the throne, which is currently 9th behind Harry and Meghan Markle's 2 children.
Is Harry still in there?
Yeah, Harry's still in there. Oh, wow. However, he will no longer use the title, His Royal Highness. So he keeps his succession in the line, but since he is ousted from the royal family, he has no assets anymore.
Yeah.
That's what I really think it comes down to. I think protecting the assets of the royal family.
So he would be a broke king?
He will be a broke king. But I'm sure Mama, Queen Elizabeth Mama, will give him some peanuts every so often.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Well, how is he even related? I don't even know how he's related to them.
Andrew is the second son of Elizabeth and Philip.
Oh.
And Charles is the first son. So Prince Charles, who was married to Diana, I don't know why I know all this, but I do.
So I didn't know that they had an older son?
What?
Andrew?
Andrew's the younger son. Charles is the older son. So Charles is the first in line once Queen Elizabeth either abdicates her throne or passes away.
Right.
And then if Charles passes, then Charles's children are in line first before
Andrew. Got you.
That's why he's ninth.
Yes.
So Charles's children are with Diana.
Yes, yes.
And that would be Harry and
William. Yeah, that I was getting Charles and William mixed up. So I was like, wait.
So William is
That makes
actually behind Charles.
Charles, yes.
Right. And then
now I get it.
And then Meghan and Harry, he gave up his royal throne.
Right.
All right, because he said, I'm not going to become king anyway because there's too many people in front of me.
But honestly, it's not really that many. You know, if you got Charles, then William, and then Harry.
I will bet you that if it looks like Harry's going to become king, all of a sudden he's going to wiggle his way back into.
Of course,
wiggle his way
that
back
would be
into
wild.
the family, right?
That would be wild.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court today blocked President Biden's vaccine on testing requirements at large businesses. So if you are an employee of a large business and do not want to take the vaccine, you will not be mandated to do so. The Supreme Court found that illegal. What the Supreme Court did find, though, that people who are working in the healthcare field must, in a different regulation, must be vaccinated or can risk losing their jobs. So it was kind of a split decision. If you're in the healthcare field, you got to be vaccinated. No choice, or you're not going to be working in the healthcare field.
Right.
But if you're working in a big business and it has nothing to do with healthcare, then it's up to the particular business. The business still has a right to mandate.
So they still have a right.
So in other words, I'll give you a perfect example. At Spar & Bernstein, I do not at this moment mandate every employee to be vaccinated, although we all almost are. Okay? I could choose to do so, and it would be completely legal, and terminate people who are not vaccinated. Companies can still do that. Some companies are already doing that. Some airlines are doing that.
Yes.
But it's not mandatory on them. Had the Supreme Court agreed to this, it's possible that, at Spar & Bernstein, we're not at 100 employees yet. We're a little under 100. So we wouldn't have had to.
Okay.
But any company with more than 100 employees, you would either have to be working in a mom and pop, work for yourself as an independent contractor, but you would have been fired if you weren't vaccinated. But the Supreme Court blocked it.
I could have sworn we talked about something like that happening in New York, though. New York had said
New York is requiring it. But that is a city ordinance.
Okay.
And we'll see how that goes.
Right, because that hasn't gone through. Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. But as a federal through the United States of America,
got you.
The Supreme Court said it's up to states and cities and localities to make those determinations, as well as private employers.
What do you feel about that?
Well, the way that I respect people who don't want to take the vaccine, in the sense that I can never tell anybody to do or not to do something. But at the same token, it has not taking the vaccine has as much to do with that person's body as it has to do with my body.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of like saying to somebody, someone says, "Well, I have the right to smoke." Yeah, you have the right to smoke, but you don't have the right to blow smoke in my face and give me cancer.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, so it's a hard decision. At this moment, I'll tell you what we do here at Spar & Bernstein at this moment. By the way, I'm vaccinated and have my booster.
Yes.
So that's where I stand on vaccines. But and almost every employee at Spar & Bernstein is vaccinated. There's a few who choose not to either. Some because they're childbearing age, others because of medical conditions, whatever.
Yes.
Everyone has a reason.
Yeah.
But what we do is, if you are not vaccinated, we require a PCR test every week. A weekly PCR test.
Okay.
So that's a good way to. So that's kind of how we balance it.
Yeah, that's a good balance.
I don't want to terminate people.
Yeah.
I understand.
And it's a family here,
right? Exactly.
So I get it.
Right. So
that's why I actually like that it would stay to, the discretion of the boss or like
Right.
the business, because they know how their tribe works. They know how their employees work. Here it's like a family. You don't want to just take someone out for, their own reasons, but another business, they know exactly the type of vibe it is.
I have a friend who works at the Department of Education here in New York City, mandated to take a vaccine. This friend refuses to do it.
Wow.
And says that I had a very bad reaction to vaccines in the past.
See?
I'm very concerned about taking the vaccine, and gave up a 6-figure job at the Department of Education in New York City.
Sheesh.
Because they were concerned about their health, and moved out of New York City.
Wow.
Because you can't even walk into a restaurant now.
Yeah.
You can't walk into a gym, a movie theater, anything without being vaccinated these days. Here, at least certainly in New York City. So there's no right answer.
Yeah.
But but it comes down to this, to me though, when people when someone says, well, I have a right to put whatever I want in my body, and the answer is you're 100% right. But you don't have the right to blow smoke in my face, to smoke a cigarette and blow smoke in my face.
Right.
And that's what not taking a vaccine is. But I respect that they don't want to do it. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
All right. Do we have any wacky news?
Yeah, let's fly across the globe.
We have some wacky news.
Okay. Yes.
I think I'm playing ground today.
I'm waiting fast. Let's show them too. Let's still flying.
All right, so we talked about the guy in the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah,
He's
I need to hear about
Chinese
this.
food vlogger, and he has been banned from the all-you-can-eat buffet in Changsha, which is the capital of China's Hunan province. Which is very interesting, because how many Chinese restaurants in the United States are called Hunan something, right?
Right.
All right. And after the owner said that this Chinese vlogger was eating too much food, you get out, and he's thin. Is that the owner of the
We don't
restaurant, or
know
the
who
guy
that
who was
is.
eating too much?
We don't know who that is.
Joe, was that the...
That's
That was
the
the
owner.
owner. Okay, I was gonna say that.
I was about
the
to say that
man-
looks like the owner, because
I
it
said
looks
that-
like he's not
I
having
said that guy can't be the overeater. The
Oh, you never know.
I don't never know, right?
Bottomless pit, they say.
Look at
This
Johnny
the guy.
Johnny Chestnut from the hot dog eating contest.
right.
The guy. This is
the
the
guy.
Chinese vlogger. He doesn't look.
He's not big
No,
either.
he's not big. I thought he was gonna. His name is Mr. Kang.
Okay.
I would have called him Big Kang, but he's not that big. He told the local television that the Handadi Seafood Barbecue Buffet banned him after he live streamed several binges. Kang said that he ate more than 3 pounds of pork during the initial visit, and between 7 and 9 pounds of shrimp.
Come on.
Yes, he has since accused the restaurant of being discriminatory. He says, I can eat a lot. Is that my fault?
It's not.
The restaurant owner told the People's Daily in the British, in the United Kingdom, that Mr. Kang eats too much. He eats too much. And so that every time he visits, the restaurant loses a few hundred yuan. The restaurant is not in business to lose money. So even when he drinks soy milk, he can drink 20 or 30 bottles of soy milk. When he eats the pork trotters, he consumes the whole tray, says the owner. And the prawns, forget about it. He takes the tongs and he's picking them up with the tongs. He doesn't even use chopsticks or a fork. He's taking the servy tongs and he's just stuffing it in his mouth. Now, the Chinese government has launched a crackdown on food live streamers, specifically those taking part in mukbangs.
Yeah.
It's considering, what's a mukbang?
So that's like the ASMRs, that they have a bunch of food in front of them. It's a lot of YouTubers that do this, and they have millions of followers, and they literally just eat food in front of the people. And
it's
like
an
you hear the
extreme
sound.
eating trend in which creators film themselves interacting with it, consuming as many as
what I
10,000
said.
calories in one sitting.
That's wild, though. 10,000. See, these people they don't understand.
killing
They
themselves.
are killing themselves slowly.
They are killing themselves.
Killing yourself. It's not worth it. It's not worth the fame. But even with hearing the whole story, he deserves to be there. I mean, if it's an all-you-can-eat buffet, then it's all you can eat. If they don't want it to be all you can eat, they can make, put a time limit on it.
I think it should be, it's all you can eat up to a point buffet. That's what they should
Then
call
it's
it.
not all you can eat.
But it should be called, it's all you can eat up to a point
And
buffet.
what's the point? When you feel tired of seeing somebody eat?
I don't know, but this owner is
He's
losing
over
money.
it. Yeah.
He's losing money. So you know what? It should be, it's all you can eat up to half a tray of shrimp. It's all you can eat up to only 1 pound of pork.
It ain't fair. It ain't fair. They should change it from all you can eat buffet and just put like a 90-minute time limit.
It
or something.
is heart attack waiting to happen, says Gowie Magazine. Yes.
Yeah.
Heart attack waiting to happen.
10,000 calories in one sitting?
Do you know who would eat 10,000 calories in one sitting? Michael Phelps. But then he would swim for like 10 straight hours.
Yeah, and his body is still crazy dope. Like,
right. Do you know if I ate 10,000 calories, I wouldn't even make it through this show.
We'd have to roll, both of us.
You would roll me out of here. I'd find a hill and start going down really, really fast.
It's all you can eat, not eat all. That's what Violet Blackwood says.
It's very true. I can just see the fight. You get down to my restaurant now.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it. But I'm still for the guy. He's an innocent eater.
I'm for the owner, the guy.
You see, of course.
I'm for the owner. I feel bad for the guy. He's trying to make a living, and this guy comes in.
It's one person. It's not like everybody's doing that.
And you know what? It's not in the spirit of the rule.
Right.
The spirit of the rule is you can get up for seconds, even thirds.
Yeah.
But the spirit of the rule is not to eat 10,000 calories. Not a whale.
I'm here for him eating.
All right. Meanwhile, did you see? Do you think this is a good way to find a wife? Maybe I should do this. I'm still looking.
Still looking. All right.
I'm still
so
looking
what do you gotta
around.
do?
A British bachelor is taking an unorthodox approach to his search for the right mate. He's putting up billboards with his photo.
Wow.
Yeah, Muhammad Malik, he's 29, had multiple billboards put up in Birmingham, England area bearing the phrase, "Save me from an arranged marriage," with the thumbs up, by the way. He's giving the thumbs up.
No, he's pointing.
Oh, he's pointing? I thought he was giving the thumbs up. All right, he's kind of casually lying there like, hey there.
I actually love this.
The billboards direct interested women to his website, findmalikawife.com.
Get out.
Yes. We have video of this. Let's see.
That's brilliant.
What's the video? Meanwhile, Malik
Punjabi families. I am looking for someone who is working on her deen. I'm open to any ethnicity, but come from a loud Punjabi family, so the banter has to be 100.
Wow.
Yeah, he hasn't found the right girl yet. He says it's tough out there, and so he said he got the billboard to be seen.
That means this guy got some money.
He's got some dough. You know, a billboard in London, gotta be 15, 20K minimum.
And then you said he got a couple?
I don't know where it is in London, but billboards are expensive.
Yeah.
They ain't cheap.
So women out there, think about that too. He's got coin.
He's got right, but Malik doesn't want no gold digger. Malik wants somebody who's gonna love him.
Oh.
Malik is looking for someone to love him.
I think this is a dope idea though, because obviously it's, his pool is a lot bigger to choose from now. And
then there's another billboard, by the way, in Times Square. A Boston mom by the name of Beth Davis teamed up with the dating app Wingman. I never heard of Wingman.
Me either.
Okay. Well, now we're going to hear about Wingman. I guess it's a good advertising for Wingman.
Oh my God.
To put up a billboard in Times Square, letting the world know that her daughter Molly is looking for love.
Wow.
The 47 by 25 foot billboard reads,
Yo.
"Date my daughter," along with a picture of Molly. So it all started this past Thanksgiving when Beth, who is up in Duxbury, Massachusetts, said, I'm quoting her, "With the pandemic and with Molly being a busy professional in New York City, like all young people, I obviously had way more time than she did. And in my research, what I read about is that some young people spend 10 hours a week searching through profiles on dating apps looking for Mr. Right. And I just thought, if Molly would just let her mother do this, then I could do some of that for her. And
That's
Molly was
hilarious.
agreeable because she's a very agreeable daughter, and she knew it would be fun for me. So Beth went on the dating app looking for a date for Molly. And Beth ended up on Wingman. I guess she tried Tinder and Bumble and all the other things. And then finally landed on Wingman, an app that allows a single person's loved one to make a profile for them, provide the photo and description. So Wingman does exactly what Beth's mother wanted, which is to be the wingman or the wing woman.
I love what it says under the picture. If we put that picture back up,
What does it say?
it says, "I'm Molly's wingman and her mom."
Now, how Molly ended up getting on the Times Square billboard is because
That's huge.
because the mother was diagnosed with breast cancer several years ago, and she says her time is very precious, and she wants to see her. God forbid something happens to her, she wants to see her daughter being taken care of. Know that her daughter is. Is in a relationship, is married, family, that the daughter is not gonna be alone in life.
Yeah.
And somehow the CEO of Wingman found this profile and started contacting the mother, and it asked if Beth would go up on the billboard in Times Square, and there she is.
Wow.
So it's good publicity for Wingman. Wingman's paying for this.
Definitely.
And also, I am sure with a billboard in Times Square, Beth will be finding love very, very soon.
I love Gowie Maxine said, "Oh darn, I'm looking in the wrong places."
Gowie, have your mother go on Wingman.
Right.
Okay, have your mother go on Wingman.
Lord, hopefully my mom isn't watching this.
Yeah, go on Wingman, have your mother go on, and see what happens.
Because Lord knows my mom, Elsie, will go and email the hell out of Wingman.
You think Mama Yo-Yo would go and do that for you?
Absolutely, she would try to do that.
And would she start contacting you like, this is a lovely woman, why don't you call her?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
She would do that, right?
Yes. That's why I'm hoping she's not watching right now.
That would be great if Mama Yo-Yo starts doing that.
It would not.
We come back in a couple weeks and see how you're doing with that.
Oh, man.
All right. Meanwhile, on New Year's Day, there's a giant potato on the island of Cyprus in Xylofagu, a giant potato monument. I didn't know Cyprus was known for potatoes, but they were there. It got vandalized.
Oh.
Yeah. Nicknamed the Big Potato. We have a picture of the Big Potato?
Yeah.
Let's see the Big Potato. There it is. There's the Big Potato, and now
that's
that's the
it,
vandalized potato.
Oh, me.
Where was the picture of the potato before? I was looking at my card. That's the original Big Potato. And now on New Year's Day, we have it vandalized. Excuse me. Wow. I can't believe that happened. That came out of nowhere. My apologies. And now we have a vandalized. I never sneezed live on the air ever before. My entire life.
Really?
First time ever. That just came out of nowhere. Even when I was on the radio for 20 years, I don't think I ever sneezed in my life on the radio. I don't remember ever sneezing in my life, period.
We've all witnessed history.
You've just witnessed history is right. And by the way, I want you to know something. It's not like, like sometimes you're holding in a sneeze and then it comes.
Yeah. It's just like out of nowhere.
That just came out of nowhere.
You could tell. It was because you were talking still.
That just came out of nowhere, that sneeze. I'm like, where did that come from?
That's why it scared me. Because I was like, wait, what?
That's the best part of the show. Yeah. Just sneezes in the middle of the show. So nicknamed, thank you very much. Jessica Levy says, God bless you. So the village honored the humble potato in October with a giant monument. It's kind of phallic looking. It's nicknamed the Big Potato. It's 16 feet tall, but somebody knocked it down. It does, it kind of looks like Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin rocket.
Right.
Right? Doesn't it look like the Blue Origin rocket, like it's going to blast off into space?
It does.
It looks a little. Can we see a picture of the Blue Origin rocket?
Look at that.
That looks like that. The other one looked more like the Blue Origin rocket. Do we have a picture of that? Can we compare the two? By the time we get it, we won't have it. But that looks like the Blue Origin rocket. Yeah. The statue was meant to celebrate the nation's staple crop, which I guess is the potato. Former Cyprus ambassador to the United Kingdom wrote on Twitter at the time, other countries have instantly recognizable monuments. Now we have our own. There's the Eiffel Tower. There's the Statue of Liberty. Hong Kong has the big Buddha. I'm telling you exactly what he wrote. And now we have the big potato here in Cyprus.
Oh, wow.
But it's knocked down.
Oh.
Poor Cyprus. Poor Cyprus. And we have time for one more, Yo-Yo.
All right.
Which one? Pick a card.
Over your handkerchief.
This one.
Yes.
All right. Last month, an Italian man who wanted a COVID vaccine took it a little too far.
Oh.
The man in his 50s arrived for a shot with a silicone mold covering his real arm.
What?
Hoping it would go unnoticed. He was trying to get a vaccine because in Italy, you have to get a QR code.
Yeah.
When you take the vaccine. Everyone in Italy gets a QR code. So he was trying to get the vaccine into a fake arm.
I can't.
And get the QR code. But an eagle-eyed nurse caught him, was not fooled, and reported the man to the police. Yes, the nurse, Philippa Bao, was preparing to give a man a dose of the COVID vaccine when she realized that the small patch of arm he offered in a gap between his sweatshirt and t-shirt looked much pinker than his face, but told local media that when she had rolled up his sleeve, she found the skin rubbery, cold, way too light.
And this is the guy?
This is the guy. And after being... that was not the guy. After being discovered, the man tried to... That was just a happy guy.
Yeah.
So, after being discovered, the man tried to persuade the nurse to turn a blind eye, but she said, fraud's fraud, and she called the police.
Yeah, she could lose her job.
Yes.
That's bold of him.
Local police are now investigating the incident. The local police said the case borders on the ridiculous. If it were not for the fact we are talking about a gesture of enormous gravity. He said the ploy was unacceptable, faced with the sacrifice that our entire community has paid during the pandemic in terms of human lives. The man was reportedly a healthcare worker who had been suspended from his job because he had not been vaccinated. And I am sure there's lots of people. I am sure there are lots of people who have faked it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even be surprised in the United States if there's doctors. I don't know of any. Maybe I shouldn't call out doctors because I don't know. I'm just taking guesses.
Right.
You know, you could just squirt it.
That wouldn't be too
you
good.
You could squirt it in the air and not put it in somebody's arm for the right money. And you know.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if.
We don't like that, though.
I don't like that, though. Either get it or don't.
Yeah, don't lie about it.
Don't lie about it. Thanks for watching. For more Bradshaw Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.